This is it. The road to a championship runs straight through the most legendary racetrack in America. Welcome to Daytona International Speedway, where history has been written in tire marks and victory lane celebrations for decades. Tonight, in the Underdog Racing League's 110-lap battle under the lights, legacies will be forged, dreams will be shattered, and the championship field will take shape. This is super speedway racing at its finest, where the draft is king, the stakes could not be higher, and the next moment could change everything. Last week, Jason Siems delivered a clutch performance, locking himself into the championship race at Las Vegas. But for the other 6 playoff drivers, tonight is pure survival. Jason Fensler, Dylan Zampa, and Will Young come in above the cut line, but that could change in an instant. Behind them, Nick Gardner, Noah Tansman, and last year's champion Dylan Walterman are all below the cut line, desperate to fight their way into the title with only one chance left. Daytona is the ultimate equalizer. The draft brings the entire field together, forcing drivers to rely on each other while simultaneously battling for every inch of track. One wrong move, one mistimed block, and the big one can take you from contention to catastrophe in a heartbeat. It's unlike anything else. Pack racing at 190 miles per hour, inches apart where nerves of steel are required, and there's no room for hesitation. With stages at lap 30 and lap 60, drivers have to decide: play it safe or collect the points. Or play it safe and collect the points, or push to the limits early. Every lap matters, every position counts, and one moment of bravery could punch a ticket to the championship race. For some, it's a fight for survival. For others, it's a golden opportunity. But when the checkered flag falls, only 4 will have a shot at the title. History awaits. The lights are on, the engines are roaring, and the fight for a championship is about to take center stage at Daytona. Buckle up. It's time to go racing. With that, let's meet our drivers fighting for the win tonight and go to our Custom Inc. starting lineup. See who's on the board first, and of course it is the 68 of Will Young with another pole here in Underdog Racing League. I feel like he's been first or second about the last 6 weeks. Right here he is on pole again. Right next to him, the number 15 of Jason Fensler, our points leader coming into this race. Highest up that hasn't advanced to the next round. He'll be looking to get stage points early and often. Starting third is the 92 of Dylan Zampa. Looking for that same strategy for him tonight. Another playoff driver looking for stage points and maybe a win to send him to Las Vegas. To his outside is the number 16 of Dylan Walterman. Top 4 are all playoff drivers, all looking to get points early. Starting fifth, first non-playoff driver, is the 76 of Brad Ringer. Had a good run going a few weeks ago at Chicago. Now coming back, trying to get a win at Daytona. To his outside will be Chase Durheim, driving the deuce. Had a win in his hands last week. Took it away from himself, had it taken away, whichever way you want to go with it. He will start 6th. 7th is Derek Riley, driving the number 17. And starting to his outside is Nick Gardner, fighting from below the cut line, trying to make it through. Then we have Scott Milner starting 9th in the 31. To his outside, Stephen Horner with maybe his best start of the season, starting 10th. 11th, we have Justin Stannard driving the 33. And then we have Noah Tansman in the 66, another playoff driver. We'll see how high he can go. 13th will be Cody Dorsey piloting the 9. 14th will be Matthew Young in the 13. Then we have Marshall Wilson driving the 85, starting 15th. 16th is Jason Bottoms in the 5. 17th is Dakota Bly, driver of the number 58. And Justin Shank starts 18th. Right behind him, teammate driving the 72, Curtis Cairns. Starting 20th will be Scott Kerberg, driving the 14. 21st, Evan Logue driving the 69 car. 22nd, Ryan Siems in the 83. And 23rd, Jason Siems rounding out the field. So the 2 Siems boys starting from the rear here. But let's show you the playoff grid quickly. And then we also have our bracket challenge that I'll try to get to at some point tonight. It is Cody Orsi, Scott Kerberg, Justin Stenard, Ryan Seam. So those two in a battle each with each other to see who can make it to the championship. And we'll be talking playoffs all night. I've got my Excel set up so we can, I guess, keep track of the points and stuff. And with that, let's go racing from Daytona. Young in the inside line gets a pretty good start there. And we are away for 110 laps of carnage, chaos, and controversy. All even for the first 3 rows. And we've got some fog on the racetrack. Justin Stenard, you will rue this day. But Fensler with the advantage on the outside. And I think we're going to see a high line dominant race. That's not normally how it goes here, but, or at least in URL, in the races I've run this week, as it's just all Daytona all week usually in these speed weeks, the high line has been dominant, but it's the more dangerous place to run. If there's a wreck, you don't really have anywhere to go. You're kind of just stuck up top and hoping that everybody around you can give you room to avoid the incident. But when you're on the bottom, you can always duck way down low, and you'll be all right. Love how active the chat is tonight. Big race. Just about the biggest of the year. And last time we were here, I guess it was Talladega, but the last plate race we had was the closest race of the season, with Jason Seams taking home the victory there. So tonight he's kind of playing it safe in the back, already locked into the next round, the only driver locked into the next round. And then you see 4 drivers up front in the front 4 spots trying to get stage points. But very even so far, and from the couch at home, it might look pretty easy. These guys are just driving around, going nice and easy. Let's go take a look at Chase Durheim and go on board, see what it's like. At times you'll see that car, Jason Fensler, just disappear. And you got to have trust that the driver in front of you is taking care of the driver in front of him. It's all trust all the way around. And if a wreck happens to Fensler, Durheim here has almost no time to be able to react and make a move around him. See how much these cars wiggle down the front stretch, down the back stretch. It's tough. And how fast they rush into these corners. And how fast they go right on by. Still all even. That's something you're going to hear a lot from me tonight. But just 2 by 2 all the way through. You're not going to see a lot of 3-wide racing here tonight. It's not Talladega. It's just not wide enough early on in these races. It's definitely possible late in the race, and you may see some drivers want to be aggressive, get through the pack, go 3 wide, but I think everybody right now is just content where they're at. Look for maybe Noah Tansman, a little deeper in the field, Nick Gardner, back 8th, 9th. See if they try to make some moves, get through the field quickly here. I would expect pit stops during these stages. I'm not sure 100% if there will be, but I would expect them before lap 30. We'll go to the chopper cam and see, like, kind of the ebbs and flows that are pack racing here. You get up to the guy's bumper, give him a little tag there, and stay with him, you stay with him, and then you fall off a little bit, you catch back up. Usually these drivers are going to try to stick to their bumper down the front straightaway and the back straightaway, but through the corners they'll back off a little bit, get that run so they can be right on him on corner exit. Welterman doing the exact opposite of that right now, though. All over Jason Fensler in the middle of the corner, and Will Young on that inside line moving forward. But you see the way Walterman is hooked up to the back, 15 and 16 on the outside there. They were able to gain a lot of that time back, bring it right back up to the side of them, and in the corner, they're going to lose some more time. So just kind of the way the inside and outside line goes on iRacing, a little more pronounced than real life. But the outside line, you definitely get more of a run off the corner. The inside, definitely faster through the corner. So that'll be something to watch all night. Usually that outside, if they're working as well as the inside, they will be able to get out and get ahead of that inside line. And just see how much time Fensler gains here. Fensler is also working with the side draft of the cars to the inside. If he was all the way up top, I don't think he would be getting the same run that he gets when he runs that middle line. And Fensler, very experienced racer, he knows that, so he's going to run the line that best suits him and gives him the best speed. But 9 laps in, and it's been a calm one so far. As now Fensler in that outside line. He gets a little bit of an advantage, and is he going to go down? He is. He's going to go to the bottom line, and that's going to be really the first action we've seen up front. That Wild Bill's soda car on the inside, piloted by Will Young. Don't know if I shouted out Wild Bill's soda in my intro there, so want to make sure you guys all are aware of the great product that Wild Bill's is. And Zampa goes to the outside. We'll see if Jason Fensler, his teammate, goes up to block. No, he will not. So it'll be 2 Zampa Racing. I don't know if they've got a official team name there, but 2 Zampa affiliated cars now on the front row. I wonder if their strategy is just try to lock out the front row here. If we are both first and second, we're going to get the maximum amount of points, but Will Young, he's trying to give Fensler a push and make sure both of them are clear. And we're going to have the first lapped car of the night coming up. Justin Schenk. So Schenk is going to be in the 71. I saw him talking in chat, likely communicating with the drivers on where he should go here. He's going to go all the way up top. I believe he had a penalty from last race, had to serve a drive-through penalty, and now he will go 1 lap down. Should be able to stick with the pack, though. Got into the fence a little bit there. We'll see if he can hold on. Yeah, he could slide in really at any point here. And he should be all good. We'll have to keep the camera shots a little closer tonight with the fog. So sorry if you can't get really the whole field like I try to experience with you. That ocean breeze is bringing the fog in. See Brad Ringer now the leader of the outside line. See what he and Zampa can do. And my prediction of the top line being kind of the dominant line has not been true so far. Fensler was leading it well, but ever since then, he dropped down, and they haven't really been able to get back up there, as here comes Rad Ringer trying to prove me wrong right now. Fensler was the one guy to get clear on the outside, and he took that as soon as he was able to go right to the inside line. So one of the most accomplished, maybe the most accomplished driver in URL. I guess you can kind of follow his lead on the way these drivers are going to go tonight. This would be big for Fensler, as he is the points leader by about 20 points, or I think it's 18 points over Nick Gardner for the transfer spot, but 10 bonus points would effectively lock him into the next round, barring a win from Walterman, Tansman, or Gardner. Now, if one of those guys win, that'll shake everything up. Now, right now, it looks like Walterman would be the most likely to do it, hanging out there third in the outside line. But I am not going to count out Nick Gardner, and certainly not going to count out Noah Tansman. "15 laps in, halfway through stage one, and no talk of pitting or anything like that, but the pace is picking up. About 80% of the drivers that last lap just set their fastest lap of the race. Evan Logue set the fastest lap of the race. So the pace is definitely picking up. And this race is always a race where underdogs are going to have an advantage. Underdog Racing League. Underdogs, this is kind of what it's all about. Our first race of the season, our first regular season race, was won by Jason Seams at Talladega. And he certainly doesn't fit that underdog category. He's the only guy locked into our championship race, but at the time it was his first race, nobody really knew what to expect, and coming in winning your first ever URL race, it's kind of that storybook ending that Daytona always seems to provide. Real life last year, Harrison Burton got his first ever win, with Jeff Burton up in the booth. Think of Dale Earnhardt Jr., 2001. Trevor Bayne on his birthday, 2011. Who would be the Cinderella story tonight? I know you guys all have who you want to root for, but I think it's always fun to have the underdog come through and win a race at these kind of tracks. Jason Fensler up here leading the race says, "Screw your underdog story. Let the favorites go out there, battle it out," and he's out there leading the race right now. Very tight-knit on the bottom there, and they're going to get 2 cars clear on that bottom line. You got to wonder what the strategy is for a guy like Will Young. He is the first on the cut line, 10-point advantage. Does he think right here is enough? Can he just be second or third in each stage and have enough? Or does he need to go out, make a move by Jason Fensler in these closing laps, and get a couple extra points? Then you got to look at some of the non-playoff drivers and non-bracket challenge guys that are in this field, especially like Brad Ringer. Brad does not run every race. He runs when he can, but he ran at Chicago, was up front running well, and now he's up here running well at Daytona, former URL champion, and We see him less often now, but whenever he's here, always expect a good race and a race up front for Brad Ringer. Kind of a 7-car breakaway at this point. Back to Chase Durheim there. We'll see kind of if those guys are just trying to save some fuel, playing it a little more conservatively, or what their plan is behind. On lap 20 now, just 11 laps to go in the stages. There was a pretty big wiggle on the inside there. Haven't really seen too many close calls yet. Ooh, Scott Milner slid up there. But everything has been pretty safe, pretty orderly thus far, and hasn't been too crazy. And on lap 20 of a 110-lap race, that's kind of what you'd expect. The outside line is fighting hard, and they're now even with that inside. See what they can do down the back. They should have a run, unless Will Young and Fensler can hook up. When will someone like Walterman or Gardner make a move? Both below the cut line, Walterman especially. You just got to feel like at some point, they've got to go here. Walterman maybe taking a peek to the outside there. Zampa as well. Not going just yet. Taking a look at some of the voice channels. Some guys that may be teammates, people to look out for. Justin Stenard, Brad Ringer. They're together. Cody Dorsey, Derek Riley, Scott Kerberg, part of the Blind Squirrels, as we may have a problem here. A big problem. Derek Riley involved. Dylan Zampa involved. Noah Tansman with damage in the back there. And our first incident comes at lap 22. Let's see what happened. We'll go back a full lap here. So I was trying to find out some teammates, guys to look out for. Let's see what happened. So it's Derek Riley on the bottom. I believe this happened in turns 3 and 4, so we'll kind of get the whole lead up to it right here. Oh, just moved up a little bit. Wasn't expecting Zampa to be there and Brad Ringer to be there. Nick Gardner with a spectacular save up there. Ryan Seams had big damage, and I think the biggest part of this is right here. The Dylan Zampa machine. Driver who felt like he was all but locked in. Now with heavy, heavy damage. And his spot in the championship 4 is now in flux. Derek Riley just moved up a little too much in one little lapse there and can hinder your race spectacularly. All these drivers have a faster pair. You see Zampa right there. Got it fixed right back up. He'll be back out there, but now, does Zampa's race turn into more of a race for survival? Get to the end rather than be up front, try to get stage points. As everybody brings it down pit road, other than Chase Durheim. Fensler and Young, first and second, out of the pits, and I wonder why Durheim didn't pull it down pit road there. Not a driver racing for stage points or anything here, just doing something a little different, getting off strategy, it looks like. And Dylan Zampa's up here right now, but that will not be where he runs. I'm going to check something here. Check what time it is in the sim. See if we're going to get a night race here. May fade to darkness at some point tonight. And yet, a lot of the guys toward the back of that, we've got time now. We'll go take another look at that incident. We'll go kind of towards the back of the pack here to Scott Kerberg and look at it from all the way in the back. So it's going to be on entry to turn 3. Watch that bright green car up front. Slides up, gets into Zampa. And then everybody tries to check up here in time. These drivers back here do a great job of it. Schenk, Cairns, Bottoms. Cairns might have got a tap to Derek Riley there, but nothing too big. And Evan Logue as well. All of them did a great job. So they all checked up, got out of it, but others were not so lucky there. Hopefully that gives you a good view of what happened, and you guys can rewind that on your YouTube yourselves, I suppose. If we were on Twitch, I'd try to give you a few more looks, but as Twitch isn't as friendly with the whole rewinding and things of that nature. But we are one lap to green here on lap 25. Just a few short laps until the stage break at lap 30, and I would expect some things to kind of pop off here. Jason Fensler racing to make the championship. Dylan Walterman up here. That was big for Walterman, as a couple of his competitors, Gardner, Zampa, and Tansman, all were involved there. Riley was involved, just not a playoff driver. And now they're going to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the stage points here. But it'll be Chase Durheim, Jason Fensler, your front row, with Will Young, Justin Stenard, Cody Dorsey, and Dylan Walterman through the top 6. So we'll see what happens here as we come to the green flag. Pace car going to turn left, and we will have 5 laps to decide the stage 1 finish right here. Green flag is out. Jason Fensler in that outside line, falling back a little bit here, but we'll see where the help comes from. Walterman and Dorsey are going to be kind of the deciders here as they're side by side, battling for 5th. Look back from Durheim. Dorsey with a little bit of a blink there. That might have hurt the inside line a bit. It's all about that third car. If you can get that third car up to the second car, then the second car can push the first car a whole lot better. Durheim with the advantage out of 3. Now it's Fensler on the outside. Oh, a little squirrely there. The last thing Fensler wants here is to wreck that race car. I think he would take 0 stage points in each stage as long as he was able to get home and finish the race. So we'll see how aggressive he plays this. Denard got a little misaligned there. Going to get back to the bumper here and see where he can go. Durheim and Young hooked up on the bottom. In real life, there is a rule about pushing and tandem drafting as we got a yellow flag. Noah Tansman. Oh no. Heavy damage to the 66. We'll go back and see what happened. So Tansman checked up there. Bottoms just got a little loose when he checked up and got into Tansman. Two teammates there. And that one just went awry. Not what you want to see for a playoff driver and two teammates. And Tansman was certainly involved in that first incident. I don't know if he used his fast repair or not, but huge issue for him right there. So yeah, just watch on entry here, the 5. He saw them check it up, just tried to get out of the throttle, maybe onto the brakes, and it unsettled his car. Got into Tansman, and around he went. So we'll catch up live, and I think the pit stops here will tell us if this is the stage or not. I would expect, based on the rules, I don't think it would be the stage, since I think it's within 3 laps, but if everybody comes down here, I would expect that to be the stage. So that'll give Chase Durheim the stage win. Not running for points or anything here, but it is pretty big nonetheless. And I'll have to take a look at my phone here and update my Excel sheet for the stage points. So Jason Fensler, 8 points. Dylan Zampa will have 0, it looks like. Five points for Dylan Walterman. Nick Gardner with 3. Will Young, obviously, with 9 up front there, and that'll change things already. So now, Dylan Zampa moves on to the cut line. Now 13 points ahead of Nick Gardner. And that's just how quickly things can change. Zampa was feeling pretty comfortable. And then you get 9 points from Will Young. All it takes is someone like Gardner, Tansman, or Walterman, somebody below the cut line to win. And we will have a change in who's going to the Final Four at Las Vegas. So hopefully everything there is set up correctly, and I'm not leading you astray, but I believe, based on what I've got, should be accurate. And Nick Gardner now will be the race leader, it looks like, after staying out here, so maybe a move to get more stage points in stage 2. Will Young did a great job there, as well as Jason Fensler. Two guys started on the front row, came home second and third in the stage, and set themselves up very nicely coming to the end here. So Fensler is not locked in, but he is certainly close. 23 points above the cut line in Nick Gardner. As long as one of those guys below do not win or get more stage points than him in this stage, he should be all good. But Dylan Zampa, kind of the story of stage 1 there, was looking good. Now, runs in 8th place, no faster pair left, and just kind of hoping he can make his way into Las Vegas. And, I mean, right now he's 13 points above. So, where he's at, he is safe, but I wouldn't say he's comfortable. But we'll go up front to Gardner, your race leader, as he'll lead Will Young, Ryan and Jason Seams, Chase Durheim, and Dylan Walterman. And those two Seams, I would expect them to work together pretty well here. Whenever I raced here with Chase, seemed like we had an advantage over everybody because we always knew what the other one was going to do. Just when you've raced with someone like your brother for so long, you just kind of have that innate feeling, and we'll see what they can do in stage 2. Green flag is out. Our drivers went down there and topped off on fuel. So if you're wondering why that long row on the inside was, that would be why. Gardner with a good advantage going into 1. Ooh, little wiggle there from Jason Seams. He thought about going to the inside. He's going to stay up top. Gardner, Seams working well together on the bottom. Chase Durheim, he's going to go up top. He wants the race lead. Thought he and Will Young worked well on the bottom before. Now they're going to try to do it up top. As the night sky descends upon us, as they go through turn 2 and now down the backstretch, the Daytona super stretch. Let's do a little crank it up to start stage 2. That is 23 cars racing off into the night here at Daytona. Love doing that crank it up section, especially at these super speedways. Gives you kind of a feel of how it is to race around here. Nick Gardner still in control on the bottom though. Chase Durheim trying to take control from the outside. As these guys are lockstep with each other, racing to lap 60. That is the end of stage 2. See, back to Scott Milner there in 11th. Kind of the front group of cars, guys who are up here racing for the win, racing for points right now. Someone notable in that second pack, Noah Tansman. Let's go check up on him. Lowest running playoff driver right now, and I think his strategy has changed. Been involved in 2 accidents. Just kind of sitting back here riding it out. Taking what the race gives him, and at the end of this thing, he's hoping he can make it to the finish. Different strategy for a guy like Nick Gardner, Jason Fensler, Dylan Zampa, Will Young, Dylan Walterman. All the rest of the playoff drivers are right up here, right up front, seeing if they can get stage points to race themselves into Las Vegas. The later we go into the race, the darker it gets on track, the more aggressive the pushes are going to get. And if you think it's a little chaotic right now, the cars are moving a lot right now. Just wait until we get near the finish. Oh, there's one push that just about went awry. Gardner saves it though. And now Durheim and Will Young on the outside are both clear. They will not move down and cover the inside. And you see Gardner able to fight back down low. Seams and Walterman following Durheim and Young. Fensler and Zampa following Gardner and Seams. It's Ryan Seams on the inside, 83. Jason Seams outside, bright orange, 81. 2 brothers right now in opposite lines. Seems like we got a lot of Seams fans in the chat tonight. Love to see it. Looks like Jason Seams might be getting sent to the back here. Walterman with a move to the inside. Marshall Wilson's going to follow. And Jason Seams going to be top of 3 wide for a little bit now. See if he can tuck back in behind or in front of Kurt Cairns there in the 72. Cairns rocking a new paint scheme this week, the HendrickCars.com car. The Rajah Caruth car, the Kyle Larson car, the William Byron, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman Xfinity car, whatever you want to call it. That's what he's running. I guess it could also be the Casey Kane car now. But Seams drops. He's now 13th position, it shows on my updated leaderboard. And Durheim now trying to take the lead away up top. And here you see Scott Kerberg, 3 laps down, had some damage, had to get it repaired. Just getting out of the way of the pack, and looks like he may lose the draft again. That's the worst feeling here at Daytona, when you don't have the draft, just kind of riding around all on your lonesome. Not the way I'd want to spend my Wednesday night. Behind there in chat, I believe he was kind of apologizing to Nick Gardner there. Kind of encroached on his space down low. But also knowing Chase, he could have been yelling at him, so not really sure. Let's take some time now to talk about our bracket challenge. Show you quickly Scott Kerberg versus Cody Dorsey. That is one of them. And then Ryan Seams and Justin Stannard. Right now for Cody Dorsey, I think he's just got to get to the finish. So we'll see if the way Kerberg's running, if that influences the way he's going to race at all. And then Ryan Seams outrunning Justin Stannard right now, but both still in the pack, still running well. Shout out to Dakota Bly for coming up with those designs. Those little graphics there. Definitely has upgraded our end of season viewing here. He's had our playoff graphics. Usually has a hand in the sponsor graphics as well. So thank you to Dakota. Picked up a bigger role here at URL and been doing a great job with it. Durheim clear on the outside again, but I think he's kind of content to just ride up top, at least at this point. If anybody's watching Cup qualifying right now, it'd be cool if you could let me know how that's going. Who's won the pole for the Daytona 500? And some problems up top. Try to get back there, and we've got a spin. I was a little slow on the camera work there. We'll go back and take a look, but Scott Milner's around. And heavy damage. Jason Seams involved. Kurt Cairns. Jason Bottoms with a little bit of damage. Marshall Wilson, heavy damage. Evan Logue, heavy damage. Let's go back and take a look. Looked like it all started from Will Young on the outside here. Just about halfway through the stage here. We'll try to take a look at what happened. We'll give you the Will Young cam first, and then we'll go back to deeper in the field. I don't know if something broke in Will's pedals. If he blew up, maybe? It seems like right here he just has no power. Let's go on board. Yeah, that car is dead. I don't know if his pedals malfunctioned or if he got too hot there running behind Chase and his engine just blew. But let's rewind that again and go take a look at it from a little deeper in the field. Let's go to the 5 of Jason Bottoms. We'll go all the way back to Stephen Horner. So watch that outside line. Young loses power, loses pedals, loses something, and behind him, catastrophe strikes. As Dakota Bly gets sent a little bit into it. Jason Bottoms does a pretty good job of avoiding it, but big incidents there, and I want to follow Will. See if he brings it down pit road here. Kind of fast forward this and see what happens. So he got it into the box. Fast repair, and he's away. So anytime, I know in the Cup cars at least, and we'll just catch up live, if you reach over 284 oil temp, every time that happens, and the longer it happens, your engine has a bigger and bigger chance to blow up. So it's either that or Will Young just had something wrong with his pedals, but his pedals seem to be fine. I guess it was an actual engine expiration there.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's.
So I clicked the Wild Bill Soda a little too early there. Do want to give shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wild Bill Soda. And we'll hear from them now.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's. Pure cane sugar. Old-fashioned sodas.
Thank you, Wild Bills, for putting on maybe the greatest season in URL yet. But I'm going to take a quick break while we're under the admin box yellow flag, and I'll be back for the start of the green flag. I am back and ready for the green flag here, and yeah, you guys see it in the chat. It's something I didn't fully pick up on when the incident happened, but if I click on the 66 car, nothing's going to happen. We'll go back and see what happened to one of our playoff drivers here, Noah Tansman, before we go green. So here he is, just heavy damage to the right side. Tried to drive through it. And his quest for a championship is going to end here at Daytona. But got to catch up live and get with our race leader, Chase Sturheim. And fortunately for Noah, that's going to be the end of his season. But it was a great season for him. Going to be a top 7 points finish. Just didn't have enough tonight. We Chase Sturheim inside, Jason Fensler outside, and let's get ready to go green here again at Daytona.
Green flag, green flag.
Pretty ordinary start. Little checkup on the bottom. Oh, anything but ordinary. Eric Riley around. He's in the infield grass. That will likely not bring out a yellow flag. Looked like there was contact with Scott Kerberg there. A lot of drivers on the inside just checked up. And Will Young was almost involved in that. They are live racing out of turn 2, but Cody Dorsey, Will Young, a couple drivers had to check up on the inside. And now we are staying green. For Will Young, though, it looks like he may have lost the draft. So he is not going to be getting any stage points here, and that could be huge as we get towards the end of this race. Oh, Dylan Walterman! He gets spit out of line. Able to bring it back in, though, and he keeps us green. A chaotic first lap after the restart. But everything's all right for now. Here's Justin Shank up front. Haven't seen him in a minute. Running very well. Third on the outside. Now going to be third on the inside. Let's go on board with the Red Bull machine. Ooh. Had something happen there. Oh, something big happened. We were on board, and I don't really have a better way to do this. We're just going to rewind. Let's check Dylan Walterman here. So Walterman in the 16. Oh, he got into Justin Stannard there. And everybody kept it semi-straight. That's not going to bring out a caution. These cautions are all up to iRacing. What they deem to be a caution, I've seen a lot on social media this week that cautions have not been called correctly in a lot of these races, and we'll catch up live now to a 5-car breakaway out front. So iRacing again with another suspect caution there, or non-caution, and we're going to stay green. Now it's 5 cars up front, and Zampa now the race leader. Wow. So we're going to have a number of different packs here. This front pack of 5. Then this second pack will be led by Matthew Young, it looks like, in the 13. Jason Seams, a little front end damage trying to lead that outside line. These guys need to form up here if they want to have any shot at getting those guys out front. But this is great if you are a fan of Zampa or Fensler. The California kid and the California veteran are now running 1-2, trying to pretty much clinch their way to the championship for 2 of the dominant drivers all season. Came in very wary of Daytona. Talking to Jason and Dylan, as I often do, because they often finish top 3. They were very concerned about Daytona, had this race circled, and were not really sure how they were going to get through if they did not win at North Wilkesboro last week. Now, though, they are looking very good out front. So it would be 10 stage points to Zampa, 9 to Fensler, and we'll see if Fensler tries to help him out here, just kind of stays behind him, because he knows that he needs the points far more, or that Zampa needs the points far more than he does. But we'll see. Take a look at that second group now. See if it's led by Seams. No, it's going to be led by Jason Bottoms and Dylan Walterman second. So another group of teammates there. We'll see if Bottoms at any point plays some shenanigans. Let's Walterman go get another point. I believe they're teammates. Let me go check to make sure. They're not in the same chat, so we'll see. I think technically they are teammates, but as it goes for the chat, not tonight. This is huge, though, for Will Young. Currently on the outside looking in for stage points. He is leading this next pack, but really has no realistic shot at getting stage points without a caution. And then you have Curtis Cairns, Cody Dorsey. They're just trying to stay on the lead lap together back here. Rear end damage for them. Derek Riley, he's all alone. Looking like he's going to go and lap down just 7 seconds ahead of the race leaders, but running 3 seconds off the pace. So a lot of mix-ups through the chaos and the non-call with the caution there. But no chaos up front, as this front group has added another driver, Justin Stenard, and that is great for Stenard to be able to work with this group, as he should be able to now put himself in the free pass spot. And Chase Durheim, he's not comfortable running back there. He wants to pick up another stage win. He's going to go to the outside and have Justin Stenard follow him. Now we'll see what Nick Gardner does. Nick is the closest guy to the bubble. 13 points off of Dylan Zampa. Oh, Zampa went up. He tried to take that, or went to block Durheim. And now Durheim leads the outside line. And it's 2 by 3 all the way through here. Nick Gardner, though, I think is the guy to watch. He has the most to gain, the least to lose by making an aggressive move here. And you never want to wreck your competitors. Gardner does not want to have that be the way he gets to the next round. But if there was a wreck up here and it included Jason Fensler and Dylan Zampa, that would be objectively good for him. So being aggressive is the thing I would expect to see from Nick Gardner here. Another lap car they come up on. Derek Riley, and we'll see how this affects Justin Stannard as Stannard gets into the wall there as he got out of the throttle. Fensler moves up. He's going to move all the way up. Get in front of Chase Durheim. And Riley doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch on to this pack. And he would be racing Justin Stannard for that free pass. Now Fensler went down. Oh! Little late. Schenk had the wherewithal to kind of back out of it there. And we stay green. 3 laps to go now in stage 2. Fensler got a little bit of a shove. He's all the way out of it. Gets back into Justin Schenk. Jason Fensler. Pretty heavy damage there. And we have a caution, as that will be the stage. And has Chase Durheim done it again? Looks like he has. So Justin Schenk and Jason Fensler get together. Let's take a look at what happened. So you see a shove from Schenk. Fensler has to come up on track. He thought Schenk would move up there. Or maybe a little frustration got into Schenk, and around he went. Wow. That's crazy. So we'll see officially what it scored as. I'm going to pause this here just so my standings don't change. Oh, the standings still change. Never mind. But I'm going to try to get the most accurate stage results I can. As that will be the stage break there. So I believe Jason Fensler will come away with 7. Nick Gardner with 8 and Dylan Zampa with 9. And Chase Durheim has gotten away with another stage win. Right at the end there with a caution. Dylan Walterman will have 3 points, but at this point, it's kind of between Will Young and Nick Gardner. 8 points separate the two of them. And I know we've got some bonus points to factor in as well, so I'm going to go try to get those in. Will Young gets a bonus point for the pole. Both drivers get a point for leading a lap. So that'll be 2 extra for Young, 1 extra for Gardner. So that's where it is on points right now. Jason Fensler, with the drivers out, has, I believe, no, because somebody below the cut line could win. He's just about, anyway, locked himself into the next round, but he needs not a new driver below the cut line to win. We'll see how he kind of plays this final stage. But it is 9 points separating Will Young ahead of Nick Gardner for that last playoff spot. Noah Tansman out of the race. He is done. Dylan Walterman, not really. He doesn't have a shot to point his way in at this point, but he could win his way in to the next round. So Ryan Seams takes away the race lead under that yellow flag. Wasn't able to really stay up to date with the pit stops, but it's just not something that matters as much here. Let me see if I can add something for you here. See if I can show you guys my Excel spreadsheet. This is what we got. I'll stretch this to the screen. And I don't know if you can see that too well. Hopefully you can. This is what we got. Points on the right are going to be what you need to look at. Jason Seams, locked in. His points do not matter here. That is what you're going to be looking for in this final stage here. So take a picture of that. Come back to this point if you're wondering about points. That is it right there. And I'll try as soon as this race is over, I will try my hand at doing some mathematics and getting you the final playoff results. Hopefully they make it easy for me, but you never know. I wish I could have like a live on screen live points and stuff. I don't know if that's possible in iRacing. If it is, I'm not aware of it. So this is what we've got now. Hopefully everything I've got right now is accurate. But up front, it's going to be Dylan Zampa and Ryan Seams, your front row. Ryan Seams, your race leader. And let's check the right side of that number 15 machine when he comes on by here. We saw him take that heavy right side hit, but fast repair looks like it was used. So now you got to wonder how safe he's going to try to play the end of this race. But it is all downhill from here. One last stretch to decide who's going to race for a championship. Here we go. Ryan Seams, Dylan Zampa, your front row. We are away. And that outside line led by Zampa. Looking very strong. We see Will Young back into the fight here. He and Nick Gardner side by side. 9 points apart. And I don't know if these drivers, I know some of them watch the broadcast, I don't know if they know the point situation. With our point settings, one spot on the track equals 1 point, so it's really an easy way to kind of see the way this is going to end, I guess. I didn't have an easy way of explaining that. Evan Logue into the picture. Cody Dorsey taking a peek up here, and out of that last caution, Justin Stenard took the free pass, so went from one lap down to the lead lap. Battle for the free pass is going to be between Marshall Wilson and Derek Riley. 18th and 19th. And this is where the strategy comes in. I think I think just the best strategy overall here is pit when you are in your fuel window. I don't know how long the fuel window is here, whether it's 30 laps, 40 laps. Once you get to, if it is 40 laps, once you get to 40 to go, come down pit road. Pack that thing full of fuel, because you will not go a lap down as long as you stay in the pack and get on and off pit road effectively. Then if a caution comes out, you then jump every driver who hasn't come down pit road. They have to come down under caution, and then you regain control of the race. It was something that the Toyotas did. I believe it was the spring Talladega race last year. And well, they wrecked each other, and it didn't work in that way. And it did work for Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell, who were up front at the end of that race because the caution came out. They moved to the front, they gained control of the race, and Reddick came home with the win. So it's kind of the way the strategy goes here, but sometimes guys want to stay out as long as they can. And Chase Briscoe wins the pole in real life. Surprising there. Toyota's getting it done, and Chase Briscoe, first time at JGR, gets the pole. That's a fun story. Anything better than Logano. Martin Truex Jr. is probably wondering why they couldn't do that for all the years he's in that car. But enough for real life. We got some real life racing going on right in front of us. Well, real life people doing some virtual racing. Outside line running very well. I don't know, very well. They have the numbers, certainly, compared to the inside. You see a couple drivers starting to take some peeks toward the front here in this final stage. Evan Logue, one of them on the inside. Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, Stephen Horner moving back up front. Guys who are just kind of hanging out the first two stages, taking a peek at racing here. And I think that's a good strategy. If you're not in the playoffs, if you don't need the playoff points, why not just hang out at the back unless you're the madman on the inside, Chase Sturheim. Poor Ryan Seams, two drivers who have been up front a lot this race. It's very funny to see those two on the inside as Chase Sturheim moves to the outside. I was just about to say, these two are playing so nice after being at each other's throats last week. Both drivers got into each other. Ended up making sure neither won the race with about 8 laps to go. And they were working so well together on the bottom. But Chase Sturheim, when presented the first opportunity he had, went up to the top and abandoned Ryan Seams. So I was thinking maybe things were looking up for the relationship between them, but doesn't seem to be the case. Why set the fastest lap of the race that last lap. Not that it matters too much at the super speedways, but in real life you would get an extra bonus point for that. Zampa working well with Durkheim on the outside there. So we've got 43 laps to go. Still a lot of time for chaos to ensue. If you guys had to pick right now, who would you think is going to race for a championship here? What 4 drivers? Out of Jason Fensler, Jason Seams already locked in, so I guess name me 3 drivers. Fensler, Zampa, Young, Gardner, or Walterman. Who's going to be there at the end? Ryan Seams trying to avenge last week's mishap and get a win here. Oh, Durkheim trying to hold on to it. So a couple of discombobulations up front there. And now Fensler going to move down to the inside line, hoping for some stability. Evan Logue maybe taking a peek up top, thinking he wants to lead a line. No, he'll stay strapped to the bottom. All right, now things are looking good for Nick Gardner. Below the cut line, but right now in second place, and here come Durkheim and Zampa with a big run, headed down the back. Off the nose of Jason Bottoms here in 8th. Trying to get you guys in this pack for a few laps here. How about Nick Gardner, second on the inside line? Let's go back to Dylan Walterman. How he's doing. 8th place, outside line. What about Justin Stannard, driver of the 33? Look at the banking here at Daytona. If you guys ever get the opportunity to do a ride along, or especially one of the Richard Petty driving experiences at Daytona, I could not recommend it enough. The feeling of the banking is something that you just can't really grasp until you do it in a race car. You can drive around there in a minivan. You'll get the same feeling. Just racing like no other on this planet is here at Daytona, at Talladega, and now a little bit at Atlanta. Well, the only 3 places where that type of racing exists, and unless you want to talk about the Monza Oval as well, but it's not really in commission anymore. "38 laps to go." Gardner just about had an incident there. And just little things like that can end a race. I like what Jason Fensler is doing. I think he would wish he's a little farther up here or a little farther back. But I like that he's on the inside line. The inside is where you are certainly the safest. I am of the belief that the outside is faster, but the inside is safer. But tonight, it's been about even, or maybe the inside's been a little faster, so we'll see. 37 laps to go. Gotta be getting close to green flag pit stops. I would expect anywhere in the next 10 laps to see drivers coming down pit road. And just keep an eye out. If you see a bunch of guys kind of look to go to the bottom and move their way towards that inside, expect them to come down pit road. Evan Logue up into the middle there. We saw earlier a couple times drivers just lose a little bit of focus, move up slightly in the middle of the corner, and that can cause a huge wreck. So Evan got to lock in here a little bit. Make sure he stays, and he's laying on the bottom. Durham and Zampa still working together. Oh, Nick Gardner. Great work from Gardner. Great work from the rest of the field there. Not to let that be a huge pileup. Gardner got spit out of the pack, and Logue had great awareness there to be able to move out of the way, and now Logue going for a bit of a ride and is able to move back up. Can he gain control? Yes! Finally! And Jason Bottoms that time, the great driver, with the awareness. It is not always the driver who makes the great save that needs the credit. Also the guy behind him who lets him back up into the pack. Cody Dorsey took great advantage there. Now he's third on the inside line. So Bottoms and Logue did great the second time. Gardner and Logue did great the first time, and we stay green. I'm happy with the amount of times I've been able to say we stay green tonight. Not always the case. So we'll see how things ramp up here. Couple drivers moving in and out there. It is tense at this point for every driver in the field. Let's take a look at our battle for the free pass. See how they're working back here. Marshall Wilson's got it over Derek Riley, both in line. See if Riley gets a little more aggressive, tries to make some moves, get on by. And you see the whole pack here is within 1.3 seconds. Only Kerberg, Bly, Horner are kind of the only guys hanging out at the back right now. And you'll usually see those guys end up with the top 10 at these races because they decide to hang out at the back. I thought Bottoms got shuffled to the outside. He just moved up there on his own, and now Ryan Seams gets sent to the middle. He tried to control the race, and Justin Schenk is around behind. Bly with some right front damage, and Schenk around, I believe, the second time tonight. Let's take a look at what happened. He and Derek Riley get into it, and Bly nowhere to go. So go back a little farther here, see how this worked. Let's see. So Riley's all the way up top. Schenk trying to make it 3 wide. Matthew Young kind of squeezes him up a little bit. And then around they go. Bly nowhere to go. Gets some right front damage. And yeah. It's kind of just a racing deal 3 wide. I don't know if Matthew Young knew they were 3 wide and just didn't really give him the space. And then Schenk didn't think he had as much room to the bottom and moved up. Got into Derek Riley there, and I think the only driver not at fault there would be Derek Riley. He was up just about as much as he could go. Still got ran into. Should give Marshall Wilson the free pass, though. We'll take a look at the pit stops coming up here. So I believe this should take us to the end on fuel. So it'll be about 28 to 29 laps. Actually 27 or 28, I would say, when we take the green flag to run to the end of this stage. And right now, all eyes are between Will Young and Nick Gardner for that last playoff spot. But watch out for Dylan Walterman if he can win his way into the next round. Now, if Gardner or Walterman win, that puts Young on the bubble, and the focus shifts between Young and Zampa. So, a lot to go on here in these final few moments to see who will race for a championship at Las Vegas. Zampa, looks like it was fuel only, in and out, and he will be the control car on the next restart. Nick Gardner still on pit road. I don't know if he has damage or what the issue is for the 27. Looks like maybe. Let's check all the suspensions here. All the corners of the race car. Looks like he's all right. Maybe let's take a bathroom break or something. I don't know. But let's bring up the admin box logo. And let's hear from our friends at Admin Box for the first time tonight. Thank you, Admin Box, for being our newest sponsor and our yellow flag sponsor. I know I don't do a perfect job under these cautions, but I try my best to make sure that logo gets up every time, and we'll see. And, ooh, we have an update on the fuel situation from Chase Durheim. 2.5 laps short on fuel. So with that, I'm going to immediately pan the camera to one driver. I think he can save 2.5 laps. And he's going to come down, fill up on extra Sunoco Racing fuel. Also, looks like maybe repair that right front. So Nick Gardner, maybe this is his Hail Mary. He stayed on pit road for so long because he knew he was coming down topping off on fuel. I like that call. Now, topping off on fuel doesn't make a huge difference, but it does make a difference. And in the pack, you definitely can save that fuel. It's just who's going to do it, and will there be a caution to come out and make that all not matter at all? Going to be another factor to watch out for here as we come towards the end. And this is why you make Daytona an elimination race. This is fantastic. It'll be 28 laps to go once we get the green flag. Will Fensler, Zampa, Young, Gardner, or Walterman join Jason Seams in a battle for the championship where it's all on the line? All your chips are pushed in at Las Vegas. This is going to be one hell of a ride to decide the finish here. Zampa takes the green flag, foot on the loud pedal. Here we go. Durheim going to tuck right back in line there. And that, I believe, is a move to save some fuel. So Durheim going to run third, and I wouldn't expect him to be all over the back bumper of Young here. He texted me the fuel. I know for sure he's aware of it. We'll see here. Other driver, Nick Gardner, works on the Napa race team in real life for Chase Elliott. We'll see if he's picked up any tips and tricks there on how to save some fuel at Daytona. We know he came in once to top off on fuel. Oh, Bottoms and Fensler. Two Jasons got into it a little bit there, fighting for real estate on the bottom. But I would honestly expect some pretty calm racing here, as drivers just kind of save some fuel, get to the end, and see what they can do from there. Evan Lowe going to lead the outside line. He says, screw the fuel, I'm going to go lead this thing. So Stannard and Loeb, as well as Matthew Young and Kurt Cairns, a lot of drivers we haven't seen a lot of tonight, working together on that outside line. And you see a lot of the guys who have been up front most of the night, all on the inside line. So kind of a clash of strategies here at the end. As my pick for the guy who's going to save the fuel, looks like he's lost the draft. Dakota Bly, with that right front damage, just doesn't have enough, it looks like, to hold on to the pack. And his quest for a win may be over just with that. Dylan Zampa, though, still your race leader. I can't get his telemetry fully, but we can go on board, see if he's trying to save any fuel. So compare the sound here. We'll change it after the corner to Will Young. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of fuel saving there. Let's actually go on board with Chase Durham as well. And see where his RPM there is. Definitely below the 8,000 mark, and he is definitely not pushing it as much. Get up around it here, but very interesting strategy between all these front drivers. Logue a little out of control there. Whew. Scared me as I thought he was going to go down into Shea Sturheim. It seems like maybe not a lot of guys are too worried about fuel here. As Evan Logue trying to go take the race lead away. Logue really had something going through the tri-oval there, but lost quite a bit of momentum. We'll see if he can gain it back down the back. He's worried me a little bit with kind of the way he's holding his line and stuff. Just a little wary every now and then, but he is up here. He wants to race for the lead. We'll see if he can hold on to do it. And if there was ever an underdog story at Underdog Racing League, it would be Evan Logue winning this race. He is a rookie class on iRacing. I don't know if he's had a top 10 at a non-super speedway this year, but here he is, trying to get one now. And, I mean, that would be what I was talking about at the start is, I mean, just every time he gets a bump, it doesn't seem like he's under the most control. I don't know if that's a steering ratio, steering offset type thing. And as a rookie class, I don't know if you know those things you need to adjust in the race car, but it just seems like it's difficult for him right now to keep that car under control. But he's keeping good time up top. That is for sure. .21 laps to go, coming to 20 to go, and oh, I just don't like the look of that. I don't like the look of that at all. Prove me wrong, Evan. Nick Gardner. I don't know if he gave a shot to Stannard there and had to get up out of the groove, but he made slight contact with the wall. And the way it looks right now, Gardner has to win this race if he wants to advance. Will Young is ahead of him. He's got to beat Young by 9 spots on the track if he wants to have a shot, and right now, he's running behind him. Let's take a look at a sight we don't normally see. Jason Fensler running outside of the top 10. And I like this strategy from Jason. He's just got to get to the finish pretty much to be through to the next round. I mean, he is only 12 points ahead of Will Young. if a new winner does happen, but that just means he has to finish 12th or better, or 13th or better, since Young would not be winning the race. Let's just hang out back here, get to the end of this thing. Gardner going to tuck down to the inside, and looks like Logue is losing a lot of help behind him. And this is not something you'd normally see at the end of this race. You'd see maybe this kind of racing at the start, but, Evan Logue coming up on the lap car of Matthew Young. See if they can get through there. Oh my. Like a couple cars on the inside had to take evasive action down to the apron. But, as I said before, we stay green. But yeah, coming to the end of this thing, surprising that we're seeing so much single file racing, but it's not surprising at the same time because a lot of these drivers need to save fuel. A lot of these drivers are in situations where they just need to get to the finish. Evan Logue, not one of those guys, it appears. He's coming back to the front. So with how well that outside line has been able to get up to the front, that makes me think that Zampa is saving fuel on that inside line. Not as much as the drivers behind him, since he's the guy breaking the air, breaking the draft. But he is not full throttle the whole way around this place, I don't believe. And Stannard giving good pushes to Evan Logue. Can Logue clear? Just so much movement around up there. Oh. Evan just about making contact with Will Young there. And you've seen Dylan Zampa and Will Young run that inside line for the last 15 laps, it looks like. And it just looks completely different to the tandem of Stannard and Logue up top. And you can see it down the back here. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm the one broadcasting. And if you're Stannard with Cody Dorsey behind you, and contact from Logue to Will Young this time, is there a thought for Stannard to just kind of dump Will Young, or maybe Stannard, or dump Logue, not wreck him, but kind of just go up top, make a move around him, and dispose of him, or maybe Stannard is part of the problem here. But here we go again. Down the back straightaway, 15 to go, and I don't know how they've done it. How they have not wrecked one time here. And I don't want to pile on to Evan here, but I just can't believe it. Jason Bottoms has moved up into this pack. He wants a shot at the lead. Nick Gardner as well. Maybe those two drivers feel they've saved enough fuel. They can get to the end. Is there damage on the rear of Logue? Let's go on board Stannard as they go down the back again. Yeah, there is a little damage that could be making it a little harder for these guys. Well, let's just go on board and watch Stannard as he tries to push this 69 machine to the front. Now, Logue could be just trying to side draft here, and if it's an aggressive side draft, I understand. He just has been near the wall and near the inside a whole lot. But here they go, side by side. If they can hook up down the back here, I think they'll have the race lead. And there he goes! It finally happened! Oh, and they're still trying to save it! Justin Stannard and Ryan Seams, and just barely avoids Jason Seams. Jason Fensler gets through by the skin of his teeth. And Evan Logue is around. And everyone can breathe. So we'll go back, look at that. The entire lap. We saw it from the hands of Stannard, but let's look at it right here. Let's go back to Jason Bottoms, actually. Watch up front. Happens between Stannard and Logue. So just got him on the right rear there. And everybody made it through pretty well. And then Stannard and Seams got into it. There's a little rear damage for Nick Gardner up there. Kind of pretty heavy rear damage, but it's not nose damage. It's not engine damage. He should have still quite a bit of speed at the end here. Let's go take a look at that incident one more time. We'll go back to Marsha Wilson and see if anybody else deeper in this field was involved. Go all the way back to Cairns. So Cairns was the end of the pack here, I believe. And we'll see if these guys were able to get through it. Had a lot of room to get through it, so should be able to. And it looks like they did. Ryan Seams is another issue. Oh, no. Who is that? Scott Kerberg just wasn't able to predict the movement of Ryan Seams there and gave him a punt. So we'll catch you up live, and a number of drivers coming down pit road. So, they're still on pit road here. We'll be able to get you the pit lane cam. And this is interesting. So, I would say drivers coming down now either A, have damage they need to repair, feel like tires are of great importance, which I think with the default setup they probably aren't, or they're pitting to get extra fuel in case of a green-white checker overtime finish. Because right now, Will Young, Chase Durheim, Cody Dorsey, Nick Gardner, Jason Fensler, Stephen Horner, all of those drivers who stayed out, they are probably okay to make it to the end of the race now with a caution and with the way they save fuel. But if we go to overtime, they will likely have to come down pit road and put more fuel in the car. So kind of a risky strategy both ways, but that's where we're at now. So Evan Logue out of the race, Justin Schenk out of the race, Brad Ringer, Noah Tansman, and Scott Milner as well. So 5 drivers out, 18 remain. And the more that go out, the better for Jason Fensler as he inches his way closer to locking himself into the next round. Remember, I had the Excel up before. I suppose I can throw it up now, as we're under the yellow flag presented by Admin Box. Let me throw up the logo. As we are under the yellow flag, and we will take a look at the points here. This is obviously not including their finish to the race right now, just through the first 2 stages where the points stand. Tansman out of the race. Walterman needs to win. Gardner and Young battling for points. But if a new driver wins, it's Zampa, Fensler, and Young battling for points. So, a lot to look for here. And a new driver is either Nick Gardner or Dylan Walterman. If, say, Chase Durheim, who's not in the playoffs, wins this race, or Cody Dorsey up front, that does not affect the playoffs. It'll be 9 laps to go once we take the green flag, and it is about to pop off. If you thought you've seen chaos before, If you thought maybe an ARCA race or a truck race or even an Xfinity race in real life has been chaotic, wait till you see this. So under the admin box, yellow flag for maybe the final time tonight at Daytona, but I would say not. Will Young, race leader, has a shot to win his way to the next round. Next in line for the playoff drivers, Jason Fensler has a healthy points lead, but it could all go away with one mistake and one new winner. Nick Gardner, outside, needs to beat Will Young by 9 positions or win the race. Dylan Walterman has to win. Dylan Zampa, pretty comfortable right now, but if Nick Gardner beats him by 13 spots and Will Young beats him by 4, he's out. All to play for here as we come to the finish.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. 9 laps to go. Stephen Horner did not get a good jump on the outside there. Will Young going to go up to Chase Durheim to get some help. Dorsey getting a shove from Fensler. As they head down the back. Young outside. Ooh! Marshall Wilson got spit out, but he came back in line. Young and Durheim have worked together quite a bit this race. We'll see if they continue through the final 9 laps, coming to 8 laps. Cody Dorsey hasn't won in, I believe, a couple years. Gonna see if he can get one here at Daytona. And that's what it's all about for these non-playoff guys. Get up here, see if they can win the race. Durheim, Young going down to the inside line now. Nick Gardner contemplating going with them. Gonna stay up top. Now gonna get a push from Dylan Walterman. Dylan Walterman being pushed by Dylan Zampa. 8 laps to go. Gardner outside, getting a little bit of a run. Now side by side with second. Lost quite a bit through the corner there. 7 laps to go now. And we've got contact. We've got a wreck in the back. Will we stay green? It's Marshall Wilson and Scott Kerberg and Matthew Young, the involved parties. We will stay green. We'll go back up front. Will Young blinked out for a moment, it looked like for me. It might have been longer. Hopefully his internet can stay intact till the end of the race. We saw he blew an engine earlier in the race. See what happens here. Pack thinned out a little bit from that incident. Scott Kerberg out of it now. Derek Riley behind the 8 ball. Justin Stannard, Marshall Wilson, all out now. Walterman and Gardner outside. Both guys who pretty much need a win at this point. What will they do? Down the back, Young and Durheim with a healthy advantage now. Will Cody Dorsey go up and block that outside lane? Will he want to lead the line? Or is he content behind Durheim and behind Young? Coming to just 5 laps to go in the round of 7. What do you got? What are you made of? Said in the intro, this is the most pressure you can be under. The stakes could not be higher yet this season. What do you got? Zampa dropped to the inside. Now it is just Gardner and Walterman, followed by Stephen Horner in the outside. Walterman now bails to the inside. Gardner loses all his friends up top. Dakota Bly with the damaged race cars back in the pack. Here goes Jason Fensler. Fensler now to the outside. He wants to win this thing. Four laps to go. And it's a battle between four we've seen all season. Jason Fensler, Will Young, Dylan Zampa, Chase Durheim. Dylan Walterman now with a huge shove to the guys on the outside. They have the advantage coming to 3 to go. What does the crowd think of it? And we've got a wreck! Huge incident. Durheim, Horner, Seams, Bly. And we are going to NASCAR overtime. Let's go back a little farther. Let's see what happened. Right when we switched to the great big camera angle from the crowd, chaos erupts. So it looked like it was Chase Durheim, maybe with Dylan Walterman. Oh, yep. There was just heavy pushing between Gardner, Walterman, and Zampa. Guy fourth in line pushed third, third pushed second, and just sent them all spinning. Let's go take a look at it one more time. We'll back it up here for you further. Let's go back to the view of the 58 Dakota Bly. And watch that outside line just accordion all together here, and Chase Durheim just kind of riding around on the bottom. Goes for a ride, and Bly comes home through. So we're going to go live now, and Will Young, last pitted on lap 81, as well as Jason Fensler. Young gonna come down pit road. I know he probably didn't want to do it, but he's gonna come down, and shockingly, Jason Fensler stays on the racetrack. Now, he was a little bit deeper in the pack, probably saved more fuel than Young. We'll see what this brings him. And Jason Bottoms, 57 fan, who's been here just about every race this season, has to be screaming on the edge of their seat right now. Look who is third and fourth. Dakota Bly and Jason Bottoms. I highlighted Bly earlier because I thought this could turn into a fuel strategy race, but here he is with a shot to get his first URL win. Jason Bottoms won earlier in the year at Atlanta. So we'll see what these two got. Dylan Walterman comes out of the pits 5th. Will Young 6th. Walterman needs to win. Young just needs to beat Nick Gardner and have no new winner. Whew. I mean, what more could you want in terms of storylines here? The front two drivers, teammates, two dominant cars all season, just trying to get their way into the championship race. This is what they've been stressing about for weeks now. They thought they'd be fast enough at all the more normal style tracks, but it was all about Daytona really to them. If they didn't get enough points at North Wilkesboro, if they didn't win North Wilkesboro, it was going to be a stressful night here. They've ran well, but have been involved in some incidents. Zampa's been involved in one. Fensler's been involved in one, and they've both rebounded well. Then you have two non-playoff drivers. The Harrison Burtons of the world. trying to get a win for the first time ever, Dakota Bly. For the first time, or second time this season, Jason Bottoms. And they're both teammates. And then you have two drivers who are just trying to make it to the championship. Dylan Walterman, he's fifth. He's got to win his way in. Will Young is sixth. He's just got to make it to the end pretty much and not have Dylan win. But those two, wait for it, they're teammates as well. Who's my money on? Who's got it at the back of this pack? Nick Gardner, Derek Riley, or Kurt Cairns, I bet. I think there's going to be some tomfoolery up front, and we're going to have some chaos, and those two are going to squeak through. I'd say it'll be Scott Kerberg if he was on the lead lap, but he's not. What a start to Speed Weeks this kind of is. I mean, real life, we got the duels tomorrow, trucks Friday, ARCA and Xfinity Saturday, and then the Daytona 500 Sunday. This right here, this is as great of a lead up as you can get. I mean, I've said it before in these late race situations. What do you got? How deep is your bag, to use a basketball term? And at some points here, it's not up to you. It's up to everyone around you to see whether you'll make it to the finish here. Fensler inside. Zampa outside. NASCAR overtime. Wild Bill Soda overtime. Here we go. Green flag is out. Even for the front two. Will they work together? What will Bly do in third with a slightly damaged race car? Gets right to the bumper of Fensler. Inside line with the advantage. Young, Bottoms. Dylan Zampa up top. Nick Gardner looking to make a third line. He's all the way high. What will Fensler do? They start to spin. Jason Bottoms no longer exists. And the yellow flag is out. I tried to cut to Bottoms there, but he just disappeared. And we will go overtime racing one more time. Kurt Cairns might have been involved. I'll try to go back and take a look at that again. Sorry. That wasn't the best. I don't know if Bottoms just kind of alt-F forward. Make sure he didn't cause any problems there. But let's go, I believe, to Nick Gardner and see what happened. So Gardner tries to go up top. Bottoms looked like he wanted to go with him and then came back down in front of Will Young and disconnected. Did something happen to Young? Oh, no. So this is why the caution came out. Young was all good. Then Horner gave a shot to Riley and Young got spun around. Huge playoff implications there. So we'll catch up live. Young still on pit road. Right now, he would still be in. Gardner is not enough spots ahead of him for Will Young to lose this spot. But we'll see. Does Jason Fensler come down pit road here? Did he save enough fuel? He thinks he saved enough fuel. So we go into overtime attempt number 2, I believe. Or maybe we don't. Green, white checker still. Okay. Now, that shows the white flag. You guys can't see it. That's where the standings are. I believe we have 3 green, white checkers, but it still shows 3 to go. So hopefully, the race isn't just going to end under yellow here, and I'm blindsided, but I believe we're still good. And look who's still up here, man. Dakota Bly. While his friend and teammate Jason Bottoms got sent away, Bly is still here fighting, and he's going to be leading that outside line, presumably, or the inside line. I would expect Fensler to take the inside with his teammate Dylan Zampa right behind him, but I mean, Dylan Walterman, Dakota Bly, or Dylan Walterman and Nick Gardner. What do you do if you're them? Gardner is 5th. As of right now, Will Young is placed 13th. He needs to finish 3rd or better to get through to the next round, I believe. Now, if there's an admin in chat and wants to correct me, please do, but I believe I am speaking the truth. Hey, look who brought himself back into this fight. Most beautiful paint scheme we've got. Scott Kerberg in the 14 in the Minnesota United Chevrolet Camaro. He's back on the lead lap. He's in with a shot. And Will Young now a lap down. And Jason, oh, that's why. So Bottoms, the reason he just disappeared in the middle of the corner, he was disqualified. There's an incident point limit at, I believe, 24 is the limit. If you reach 24 incident points, you are disqualified from the race. And right there, they just sent him out. So we are coming to 1 lap to go. It is all going to set off here. Field looks very thin now. We'll have Jason Seams, Kurt Cairns, Justin Stannard, Stephen Horner, a couple more guys kind of come in at the end here to fill up more spots. And oh my, Will Young has lost another spot. I don't know if Will Young's car is able to drive right now. So he's down to 14th. Gardner just needs 1 spot to send him through to the next round. And Will Young will be out heartbroken. Fensler inside, Bly outside. I mean, I don't know if we could get more of a discrepancy if we tried. 2 URL veterans on in complete opposite ends of the spectrum. One thing they're always racing for is the cleanest driver at the end of the year, and right now, they're racing for a win. What do you got if you're Dakota Bly? What do you got if you're Jason Fensler? Walterman, Gardner, trying to win their way into Las Vegas. Here we go. Bly did not get a good jump. And we'll see what Bly does here. Does he have enough to get a run down the back? Nick Gardner is into the next round if he stays right here. Cody Dorsey's going to have a run. They're all about to head down the back straightaway. 2 laps to go. Watch for Chase Durheim. Derek Riley. Bly with another run down the back. Here comes Bly. Fensler, Zampa, Gardner, all inside. Bly and Wallstrom trying to make a move on the outside. Here comes the 58. Side by side for the race lead, 1 lap to go. Dakota Bly has the advantage now. Will he go down to block? He'll stay up high with Dylan Walterman. Walterman needs a win. Fensler wants a win. What do they got down the back? Dakota Bly, half a lap from victory. Chase Durham trying to make a third line. Where will Cody Dorsey go? They're wrecking behind. It's Bly. It's Walterman. Can Walterman go to Las Vegas? One final time through the tri-oval. Bly and Walterman. Dakota Bly won it! By the smallest of margins, Dakota Bly has won his first ever URL race as they wreck across the start-finish line in the most insane finish you'll ever see. Let's take a look at that one more time. I can't believe it. Walterman had to win, had to get by his teammate to have a shot to race for a championship, to defend his title. Bly racing for his first ever win. Dorsey trying to get through and end a season of horrors. It all came down to them at the end. Dorsey blinked out, and then it was Zampa, Walterman chasing Dakota Bly. And across the start-finish line, that was how close it was. We'll go back frame by frame, get you how close that finish was, and then we'll hear from our top three. I can't believe it. What a race, what a finish. And by that much, Dakota Bly is a URL race winner. Let's hear from him. Hey, Dakota, you got me?
Hey, what's up, Chance?
A URL race winner you are. How did you do it, man?
That is crazy. I really don't know. I saw him wrecking behind me. I still haven't seen the finish. But I saw him wrecking behind me, and I saw Walterman coming up on my outside, so I tried to kind of pinch him up into the wall. And then I think I got turned. I really don't know. I just know I ended up sideways through the grass. I thought for sure I lost there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's on the YouTube how close the finish was. You are wrecking across the line in just about as close. Well, it could be a little closer, I guess. But, I mean, that was insane.
Nuts.
Leading the outside line on the final restart. Not a position you're often in there, Dakota. What were your thoughts?
No, honestly, I was nervous because I felt like Fensler might run out of gas, so I felt a little bit better than I should have. Because I know Fensler was last on pit road around like lap 81. I knew I was solid, so I was just not lifting, hoping for the best. I really appreciate Dylan Walterman for pushing me. Kind of, we really botched that last restart, and he bailed me out. He pushed me back up to the lead, so I really do appreciate him. I hate that he got wrecked there at the end.
No, he was right on your outside.
He still finished second,
yeah,
so
he was all good.
But it was pretty exciting way to end my week with the Skate Shop Day 2025 sponsorship with Quantum. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, overall, great race for you tonight. And, I mean, kind of the underdog story that I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, Underdog Racing League, Daytona. What better mix, and kind of the ultimate underdog, and you come home with a victory there.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Turns out back of the pack can get to the front of the pack every now and then.
Yeah, great race tonight, Dakota. Congrats, and we'll see you next week at Las Vegas for the last one of the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chance. Thanks for all you do.
That was Dakota, your race winner, and we'll grab Dylan Zampa next, and we've got Justin Starr, Scott Kerberg as well. Hey, Dylan, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you're through to the next round in a crazy, chaotic fashion. How did that finish look from your eyes?
Uh, it was going good, and then it wasn't. Me and Jason had a plan right there. I was gonna push him to the win, and then hopefully I was gonna be safe on points. But we lost all of our help, and they all were pushing on the top, and then all that stuff happened in the three. But I mean, people are saying that I intentionally wrecked Nick, which I definitely did not, because my main focus was on Jason. So hopefully I don't get kicked out because of that, because that would suck, because I definitely was not going to wreck Nick on purpose to get on points. But
Yeah,
I
and
guess
I don't know if that
we'll
makes
wait to
too much
see.
sense. You were far ahead of Nick on points. You were pretty much all good as well, as long as you finished there with where Young was at. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my whole goal was right there was just to stick with Jason, and but I guess I was just told that like 17 people said that I intentionally wrecked Nick. So I'm hoping it doesn't come back as that, because that's definitely not what I was going to do. I'm not going to wreck somebody to make it on points. That's not how I race, but we'll just wait and see how it works. But I mean, I survived the Daytona race, and that's all I can say is I just survived, and hopefully we get in on points and can race for the championship, hopefully.
Race control scoring has ended.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you and Jason were both talking about Daytona being kind of the scary point to make it to the championship for. You felt good everywhere else, and to see both you go through, how does that make you feel?
So far, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not.
If you did make it, I should say.
If I did make it, it's gonna feel very good, because Daytona was mine and Jason's kryptonite, I felt like, and I think he's safe, even though he finished 8th. I think he's safe because he had good stage points, and I didn't get good stage points in that first stage, getting wrecked early. But I tried to come back. In the second stage, got points, finished 3rd, I think, and then hopefully the 3rd place right there is going to secure me. But I guess we'll wait and see, because they're going to review it. So I guess we'll find out by tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. Hopefully it's soon, because it's nail biting, because I don't want to be accused of something like that, because that's not how I race.
Yeah, just like in real life, coming down to kind of an officiating decision to see who's racing for a championship. But from my eyes, I will say I didn't see any foul play there, and if I have any voice, I'll try to make sure that's known. But great race tonight, and we'll see you next week. Maybe racing for a championship, maybe not.
Hopefully it is. But yeah, thank you to Wild Bills. Thank you to you. Everyone that puts on a great series. It's been a great year. I learned a lot for these cars, and I feel like I'm getting better each race. So hopefully we can take that knowledge into Vegas, and hopefully go get a win and maybe get a championship. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see you, Dylan.
All right, thank you.
We'll bring in Justin Stannard. He's hanging around here. We'll see what he has to say. I have no idea what this is going to be. Hey, Justin, you got me?
What's up, bud?
I saw you hanging around there. I assumed you wanted to talk to me. What's up?
Well, apparently us bracket guys got to brag a little bit for being the not so biggest losers, I suppose. I had no business being there with my damaged car, but I'll take a show off against Scott at Las Vegas. That should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, there were a million chaotic things going on there with Dakota getting his first win, playoffs. I forgot you guys were in the bracket challenge. I brought it up earlier on the race, but congrats to you for getting through there, through the carnage.
Yeah, right. It's unfortunate, because I was so good at pushing everybody, and then it was fun there that like 20 to go with Jason Seams pushing Ryan Seams, who I was going up against, and then I was obviously outside with Gardner behind me, and I think Cody at one point, and I was pushing Evan, and it just, right, that was fun. I was hoping for a checkered kind of finish and see who could cross the line first, so I feel bad that Ryan wasn't able to finish the race, but I look forward to trying to beat Scott next week. Just got to stay consistent, stay out of the nonsense, not be aggressive like I am sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And you're always a threat on these super speedways. Just, I mean, 6th place at the end of it. Nothing to scoff at, but of course, not in the playoffs.
No,
not really points you're looking for here, but you're through to the championship of the bracket challenge.
Yep, I look forward to it. Should be fun.
Yeah, we'll see you then, Justin.
Yep, take care, bud. Good broadcast.
Thank you. That was Justin Snard. Let's go grab Scott Kerberg, other winner of the other side of the bracket.
13.
Oh, hey, Scott, you got me.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. I mean, bringing you up here, don't get to talk to you often, but you're the winner of your side of the bracket challenge. Got through the chaos at the end there. How was that for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering I got spun on pit road and damaged and ended up 3 laps down because I had to repair damage on pit road. To come back from 3 laps down to begin with was a shock. And I got collected when the 85 and 13 collided along the wall and got some more damage. And I didn't have anything for Cody. And unfortunately for Cody, he got into that wreck there and it eliminated him because he got too many incident points. So I kind of backdoored my way in to this thing. So I guess next week it'll be see if I can survive the chaos and the mayhem, and who knows, I might be the bracket challenge winner.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a chaotic race from you. I feel like you were very rarely on the lead lap, but you were always working your way back towards there. You'd get close and then maybe fall back a little bit, but in the end, a top 5 finish. How's that feel for you?
It's been a while since I've had one of those. Usually when I can get into the top 10, it's on short tracks just because I tend to play it more conservative and be careful and fuel strategy. And so on a super speedway, especially when I had a damaged car, and that restart, I think I started 13th. And we came around, took the white flag, and I went, well, you know, this is it. My destiny is there. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the same chat with Cody, and I hear him go, "Oh no, I got disqualified," and his car disappears from the screen. So
yeah, I mean, great run for you tonight. You played it tactfully, a little bit better than the others around you, and you're racing for a little championship of your own, Scott.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have something like that to race for at the end. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, great talking to you. Don't always get to talk to you too much, but yeah.
Yep.
We will see you next week at Las Vegas and talk to you maybe as a bracket challenge champion, man.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
That was Scott Kerberg, winner of the other side of the bracket, and yeah, that was a chaotic race. I'm going to show you guys the finish right here one more time. Dakota Bly, going to frame it on his wall. That was incredible. Thank you guys all for watching. That was the most lively chat we've had all season. Awesome to watch, and I believe, I don't want to talk on some penalties or anything. Barring any penalties, I believe it is Will Young, Dylan Zampa, Jason Fensler, and Jason Seams racing for a championship at Las Vegas next week. I believe that is the case. We'll have something on socials. I believe Dakota will put something up sometime during the week. So check our Underdog Racing League Facebook, things of that nature, and we'll see you next week for more racing. Our final one of the season, a farewell at Las Vegas. But thank you guys for watching. That was some of the most fun I've had broadcasting all season. So we'll see you then, and